Oh, hi.
Hi, Sharona.
Hi, Kel. Normally we say hi to Adam at this point, but he is not here this week.
A little spunky millennial. It's weird not seeing his face at the bottom of the screen.
It's true. He always gives us such how are you? And just the
Sometimes
thought
we
of it
get
is exhausting.
sometimes we get we get like Spanish hellos, like senoritas and all that
See,
stuff. Yeah.
Mama like that.
Yeah.
Well, Adam is off this week, dealing with some stuff, and he'll be back as soon as he can. So, Adam, we await your return. Until then, I will take all the points possible from your lack of contribution to Kelly's trivia, which we will get to in just a bit. We've also got news on a couple of really cool pairings. One with a couple of hip hop giants and the other with a couple of artists that have a couple of decades between them. Separating their ages is what I'm getting at there. The country superstar and the boy band survivor. We actually talked a little bit about them last show, so we'll expand on that now. Well, not like right now, but like in a few minutes. Like I said, Kelly's trivia, we'll get to that too. A 90s rewind is going to take us back to around this time, smack in the middle of our favorite decade. And we got news last weekend that the hip hop world has lost one of its 90s originals. So let's start there. Coolio has passed away.
Yeah, like it'll be over a week or just around a week when our show airs, and since he's passed, and I'm still in shock / sad. And like a piece of our 90s history is just like, I can't believe he's not, with us on this plane anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot. And he was, vibrant, working.
hmm
Have they given a cause of death? I hadn't seen that part.
Not as of this recording, but yeah, like just, I woke up and my better half told me that, he'd passed, and right away my heart sunk. And I
Yeah,
started humming Gangster's Paradise in my head. Like
of course. I love his commitment to old school um R&B, old school hip hop, those sounds of the late 70s, early 80s that he sampled in his hits. Just like an appreciation that he had for that
Mhm.
kind of music and that he was able to elevate in the 90s, which is really cool. And you look at interviews and pictures from when, recently, and he looked healthy, he looked fit, looked kind of ready, looked like he was taking care of
Mhm.
things, and he was 59 years old, so
Also cannot
not
believe
old.
he was 59.
Yeah, that's young.
That is young. And also I was just like, I still thought he was 27. So
I hear that.
but like so many shout outs, because I read that there was maybe some kind of Vegas residency about to happen for him. That was in the works. There
Wow.
was new music that he was working on. He had just been on stage with Vanilla Ice like just over a week ago, and I sent you that audio of Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Uh and that just speaks volumes to what a great person Coolio must have been. Like Vanilla Ice kept getting choked up, like
Oh
talking about.
yeah. You could tell that I think you strip away any of the fame and the superstardom and stuff like that, and whatever they achieved in the 90s that they still were able to celebrate this many years later, they're real guys.
Mhm.
Aside from the jobs that they had and the art that they were able to create, they are real people, fathers, and young men interested in life and the life of their family and stuff like that. So that the identifying with that from the Vanilla Ice perspective was that he too is a father, and they talked about their kids and they traveled together from gig to gig. So no surprise that he was sad there. That's it's a lot. I mean, and
Mm.
people will, I think the media outlets will go and try and get some reaction from people, and it's usually too soon, right?
Yep. Mhm.
That and no offense, you kind of want some feedback on or perspective at least on the loss, but it was a tough one, that's for sure. And the
Mhm.
new music that he was working on, I love that, in the summertime he had described it sort of as something, energetic and really positive looking. He was working with a guy from a band, an Irish band called
Mhm.
Aslan. The guy's name is Christy, is that right? Christy
That
Dingham.
sounds that sounds right.
And so I think that, based on the fact that it was summertime when he spoke about that originally, that there might still be something coming from that. We'll see, obviously, in the next little while. what'll come from that music.
Mhm.
Also, what I loved about the stuff I've been reading is that he was so proud of what Gangsta's Paradise was to the world and how successful it was. And the fact that it was only uploaded to YouTube like 4 years ago, which I thought was odd. Like, I sort of think everything exists on the internet, and clearly I'm wrong, because this particular video was 4 years old, at least as far as YouTube goes, and that he was kind of proud that it reached 1 billion views on the same day that 50 Cent's In the Club reached a
Yep.
billion views, which is huge. But he was also quick to point out that it took him 4 years to do it and 50, 17 years. So I thought that was cool too. It's neat. Like, I mean, in any case where we lose, one of the greats from our time, we are, we're lucky. We're fortunate that we're left with the music that they made, that we got to enjoy the first time around, that we'll always have to draw from.
And a shout out, by the way, to Michelle Pfeiffer. She put out a message on her Instagram, which was really great, saying what a lovely person he was. So I thought that was super classy on her end, especially because so many people associate the two of them because of Gangster's Paradise being in her movie.
Yeah,
So
because she was exactly the right blonde to fix those kids.
I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
She looks amazing. You're right.
Yeah. What do you think she is? 67? Adam's not here to tell us, so I have
I think
63.
she looks good for 83.
Yeah.
Way to go, Michelle Pfeiffer. Whatever it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
moisturizer
Keep
secrets,
it
if
up.
you could let us know. And do keep it up.
Yep.
We're actually going to talk a little bit more about Gangsta's Paradise, because it will be featured prominently in your 90s rewind.
Like it.
Liking it. So before we get to that, we've got a few more things to talk about, not the least of which is Kelly's trivia.
And we don't have the sound
Pew,
effect.
pew, pew,
But I think the sound effect
pew.
actually will be because Adam will put this together for us. So it's probably underneath us now.
Well, hopefully I've complimented it perfectly.
Yeah.
Bing
Adam's
bong.
probably laughing as we speak, going, what the heck was that?
I leave for one show.
I leave for one show and there's pandemonium. So I will see how quickly you get these, Sharon.
Lightning fast, Kel.
Here we go. This is with a sporting thing. I feel like you'll get this one very fast. In what 90s year did a strike end the major league season in baseball?
Baseball.
This affected our home team, so.
Yes. Was it 98?
No.
I'm
God,
gonna
I
get
thought you were going to
killed.
get this one in your sleep.
94.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we could have won it, I think, right?
That
Like
was, yeah.
the Expos.
Yeah. It was, they were having a good year, I believe. Not the first time they would have a good year, that's for sure.
We never won it, right?
No.
No.
It came close a couple of times, and they were certainly a force to be reckoned with. And then somebody wrecked them. So
yeah. All right, so we'll see what you come up with this one here. Which actor wore a famously revealing dress to the 1998 MTV VMAs while dating Marilyn Manson at the time?
Was it Rose McGowan?
You got it, Sharon. That's
You
great.
bet I did.
I would have totally forgot
yes,
that.
I did.
Totally forgot.
She's one of the people that has spoken since all this neg stuff that's come out about him.
Yeah, because she spoke about him, but didn't she also speak about Weinstein?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because she had something to do with him too, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's really only you can only hold stuff in for so long. And people do end up getting what they deserve, which is nice.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I think this year, is it already 5 years? It's either 4 years or 5 years, and I want to say it's 5 years since Matt Lauer was dumped.
It feels like longer. Like, it feels like we've known of his smarminess for longer than just that.
I think I told you I started boycotting the Today Show the minute Ann Curry was banned.
Yes, I remember that from you.
Yeah, and I still have not gone back, even though like he's long gone. I mean, I've seen a few clips here and there, and I have absolutely nothing against. Like, I think they actually have a good team now with Hoda. But I just, knowing how badly Ann Curry was treated, like from what we were, I'm watching that painful goodbye. Like I watched that show when she had to
Mm-hmm.
say goodbye, and it was so upsetting, so upsetting. So
Yeah.
ever since then, and like I think she got paid off very well in the end, but like I'd rather have Ann Curry on the news somewhere.
No kidding. A talented broadcaster, a
She
talented
was
journalist.
amazing.
Yeah.
And remember when she was the newscaster, like they would often send her to go do stuff like bungee jumping and like whatever else, and like cover all these crazy like, and she was so passionate and so compassionate
Mm-hmm.
if it was like a trial and tribulation type story that they sent her on. So
Yep.
yeah, love Ann Curry.
Yep. Well, I think that, like I said, everybody gets what they deserve. And it's not always like negative stuff, right? Like
Hmm.
good people get what they deserve too. But it is good to watch the karma smack the bad ones upside the head. And that is enjoyable.
There's that.
Yes. So I'm a champion at trivia.
Yeah, you are.
Pass it on. We talked about a couple of pairs of artists that were, I just want to see how many times I could say couple of. The first couple of artists that are working together haven't worked together in 30 years, which was surprising to me because I thought for sure that they had done something in between the last 3 decades. But alas, that is not the case. It was epic when Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre got together for Dre to produce Snoop's debut album.
Hmm.
And now they're back at it working together again. And that's like, again, kind of shocking that 30 years has gone by. Certainly they've spent some time together, but they haven't been working. So now they're back in studio working on new stuff, which is amazing.
And I believe Eminem's in there somewhere as well. Like I'm not sure if he'll feature or if he's just part of the fun times in the studio, but it sounds like he's there as well. And I'm glad that he and Snoop made up, because there had been some beef a few years back.
What was the beef about?
I think there had been some misunderstandings, and then they kind of had snippets go out in the press, and then yeah, like, and I think that's how it then turned out worse. Like then like Snoop ended up, I think Eminem might have said something or something, and then Snoop took that the wrong way, and then Snoop said stuff, and then M took that the wrong way. That's what it sounds like, something to that effect. But it sounds like they finally, I forget what it was. There was an impetus for them to come back together. I think it was, oh yeah, it was when Dre had the, was it the aneurysm or whatever in his brain a couple of years back,
Right.
a year or so. I think that was the impetus for them to fix it.
Well, that's smart because it sounds otherwise like it could have been a sitcom.
Yes.
It was just a big misunderstanding. Oh,
Yeah.
you guys.
But that's what's crazy, like in in celebrity land, a lot of them know each other, but then it's like their people around them sometimes put out stuff, and then that gets taken by the media, and then whatever, and then because I think that actually happened with Justin Timberlake and the Neptunes for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some kind of something that there was, miscommunication, and their teams miscommunicated. So then they each saw or heard the wrong thing. And then, not that there was any sort of, I think, media backlash with Pharrell and Justin, but like I
Mm-hmm.
think there was a time they weren't comfortable with working with one another. Something
Just pick up the phone and fix your stuff.
exactly right. So I think that's what has to happen. And what's crazy to me, as we've talked about this before, a lot of the entourage people are the problem.
But yeah, the gatekeepers.
Yeah, because they want to keep the gate where it's at,
And they fancy themselves like powerful with this responsibility, self-imposed responsibility. Because
Yeah.
the artist doesn't say, you know what, keep this person away from me. They don't say that. I don't believe that they say that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, no matter what artist it is, I think there's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on with their entourage where, the person might act a certain way with artist, but then when artist isn't looking, they act another way with
Right.
keeping that gate where they want it,
Right. Yep.
So
Wow.
sometimes you wish the artist knew what was going on, because I think if they did know, they'd be like, I ain't having this.
Yeah. And they'd use bad grammar like that. I ain't having this.
I ain't having this. Yeah.
No, I
Coppola,
ain't.
which by the way sounded like Kamala, but not.
I know. Francis Ford Kamala.
Yeah.
Coppola, get it? Coppola.
Yeah.
So the other pair that has a couple of decades between them age-wise, but they both know a thing or two about gigantic success is Shania Twain and Harry Styles. Now, we talked a bit about them last week and how they clicked at Coachella back in the spring when she came out on stage during his set, and they both did Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Right now, she's confirming that she's going to hold him to the offer to work together, which is really cool. And probably more than, or more for than just the reasons that I will quote at this time. Because Shania said, he smells so good. He's so huggable. Yes, he is. He's just a really genuine, nice person. And I think that's really, I mean, obviously he's very talented, but people love him. He's likable. And I think he earned that likability. It was a beautiful moment. It really was. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very genuine. End quote.
You know
So
who
that's
likes
a lot.
him a lot?
She loves him.
You know who
Who?
likes him a lot? His lady friend, Olivia Wilde.
Lady. Olivia Wilde. Is she? I think I might be confusing her with somebody else. But wait a second. Isn't she very active on social media? Is she an
Could be.
actress or is she younger?
No, she's older. She's 10 years older than he is.
Yeah, I think it is who I'm thinking.
And
She's an
she's
actress.
the ex of is it Jason Sudeikis, who's Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Yeah. And they have like a not good situation going on because he served her papers at her convention or whatever. Do you remember that a few months back?
No, I don't.
Yeah, she was at, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was Comic-Con, but it was something where she was like at a, you know, promoting her film or whatever. And she got served paper by a process server while she was on stage talking.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, either on stage talking or like in, you know, like she was doing, I think she was actually on the stage though, I'm pretty sure. And then he claimed later that he had no idea, you know, that they were going to do it right then, which is BS. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he probably told them where she was going to be that weekend. You know what I mean? So,
But I think some judgment has to be, you know, at least, you know, I think from the perspective of the person that has to serve the papers, they need to make sure that it happens, right?
yeah. But like, you
So
could
there's
have
no
waited
turning
till
away
he
if you're
came
on
off
stage.
Yeah.
You can't not take the papers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pulling Adam right now and I'm looking at pictures of them and their kids. So that's kind of gross. I mean, the family looked not gross. I'm just saying that it's gross that they broke up. And
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
think
good.
the kids are quite young, right? Like maybe 4 and 6 or
Yeah.
5 and 7 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But they've
Wow.
been now together, Harry and Olivia, at least a year,
Oh, good.
year and a half, maybe.
Well, he does seem very huggable, just as
He
Shania
was
said.
very sweet when I interviewed him when he was like 18.
You did interview him, eh?
He was, yeah. And did I tell you the story that, so I, you know, did the interview. He was really sweet. Couldn't have been nicer. And then ran the interview on the radio station I work for. And I immediately got a text to our radio station text line. Do you know how lucky you are to have breathed the same air as Harry Styles?
Wow.
If I didn't know, I knew then, Sharon. Yeah.
Well, it's good that someone was able to educate you on how you
Yeah.
should feel.
Yeah, he was really sweet. And that's when he was like, you know, beginning of One Direction. So he had that like crazy waspy, like little hair, like wafty that went over to the side, like a big kind of curl thing. And he kept like doing this.
Oh, I'm
He was
sure.
just super cutesy. I think it was 2012, I think was when it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I would love to like chat with him again. I know he wouldn't remember me, but you know who remembers me, by the way, is James Bay.
Really?
Yeah, because I've interviewed him a couple times now. And when I saw him, I think it was the third time he was at, I wasn't interviewing him, but he was there backstage at Osheaga.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the year before pandemic. It was either 2018 or 2019. And he saw me like from afar and like he like waved. And I was so like tickled pink because it's
fun.
James Bay. And
you're like, hey, J Bay.
Yeah. I was like, it's me. But I think it's because when I interviewed him, especially the second time, I said to him, I'm like, when your career went kapow, and he said, I'm never gonna forget that. Like when my career went kapow, he's like, no one's ever said that to me before. So
That's
maybe
fun.
it's because I said kapow that I was in his frame of consciousness. Because he really did. Because I interviewed him. I remember being asked by the record label to interview him, and he hadn't blown up yet. And this was about 4 months before he blew up. Like he blew up, and then he literally blew up. And that it was funny because that interview, I got like a ton of hits on that first interview because nobody had interviews really with him yet at that
Mm-hmm.
point. And then that's when I reminded him on the second time I saw him, like, yeah, I'm like, I interviewed you before you went kapow. And then so he thought that was pretty good.
It's funny. Sometimes you get from the record company, they really want your help on interviewing
Yep.
someone, and then you do it, and then later when they have gone kapow, you don't necessarily get that interview again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They
I was lucky
forget.
that with James, I did get him twice. And he's such a lovely boy, and he's a new dad. So congratulations
Oh,
on that.
cool.
I think she might be 6 or 8 months at this point, but yeah, that's great.
Neat.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, Cal, it's time to get our 90s rewind on.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We go back to 1995. So with the news of Coolio's death, I thought we'd go right to the part of the decade where his song was dominating, right? Our radios were like clicked on, and basically Gangsta's Paradise was all we heard that summer, because Coolio, or at least toward the end of the summer, because he had the big song from the soundtrack to Dangerous Minds, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. So by the time his album came out, which was called Gangsta's Paradise, we had quite a bit of familiarity with at least the first song from it. He'd already been on the charts for weeks and weeks, so he himself was primed for major success. Now, Gangsta's Paradise is great, partially because of the greatness that is Stevie Wonder, but knowing how to take the best of Stevie Wonder and the best of yourself and put it on a song. So obviously all kudos do go to Coolio. The song Pastime Paradise was the song that he sampled from the great Songs in the Key of Life album from Stevie Wonder. Now that song got bumped from the top spot when Mariah Carey's Fantasy took over the top spot, and then they both sort of stayed at number 1 and 2 for quite a while. We were also hearing Michael Jackson's You Are Not Alone, or even seeing it, or not being able to unsee it. That video was the one with him and Lisa Marie Presley being all touchy and naked. Yeah, see, you can't unsee it. Great song, though.
I can't unsee your face looking unhappy.
It's like a Misery Loves Company sort of thing. You remember it, right? It was gross, right?
Yeah, it's a great song, like you said, though. And like, I have a really good remix, which I know Sharon loves the remix. It's like Should You Need Sharon for a Good Workout. Yeah, it's a very good workout tune.
I can't because
Can't listen to that song at all.
I would just see Michael Jackson as a hairless cat kissing his wife.
Okay, so no then.
No, thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. All right.
I'm not impolite.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Blues Traveler's Runaround.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Spotlit the great harmonica power of John Popper.
Were we
Speaking
already
of,
done with were we already done with Kiss from a Rose? Was that already done?
no, that was still happening.
Okay.
That was still happening, but we don't take all the songs from the charts at that time.
I didn't, yeah, I just didn't know if that was around the same time.
It was actually in the top spots near in single digit top spots, actually. Okay. Powerful songs. You can't get any more powerful than Boombastic.
Okay.
Can you? And Shaggy, of course, was making our speakers vibrate. And of course, Take That wanted us back for good.
Yeah.
And that is your 90s rewind.
Good job, Sharon.
Thanks, Kat.
Also the year of the Kiss Me, Thrill Me, Beat Me.
Hold me, kill me. Don't hit me. Kiss me, kill me. Kiss me, kill me, thrill me. Hold me, kiss me, kill me, thrill.
That's it. Yeah.
Hold me, kill me. Hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me.
Yeah.
So much emotion.
Yeah. I read also that Bono has a memoir coming out on the 1st of November. Did you know this?
Really?
Yeah, it's called Surrender, 40 Songs and One Story, I think it is. Anyways, the website, he actually has a website for his memoir. It's surrendermemoir.com.
Wow.
And it sounds like it's going to be very epic. And if you follow him or follow you too on Twitter, go there because they have a bunch of like snippets that's already starting to come out.
Oh, cool.
And like little teasers that they're dropping about it. But yeah, November 1st, memoir from Bono.
Neato. And
they've also let it be known that U2 as a band are releasing a special performance thing about the 30th anniversary of Achtung Baby.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so get ready for that.
I feel like I am ready for that. Speaking of Osheaga, which you did before, Inhaler was on the bill for Osheaga this year. Great big 3-day festival that happens the same weekend as Lollapalooza. And a lot of the artists sort of crisscross over the border from that festival in Chicago and the one in Montreal, which is Osheaga. And Inhaler, lead singer of Inhaler, is Bono's son.
Oh, right.
Elijah Hewson. And they were amazing. Honestly, just very seasoned for such a young band. They have their live presence nailed. They were very good.
I like when some offspring actually can follow in the footsteps.
And I remember reading about them. Elijah I quoted him because I found an article, but quoted him in one of our countdowns for end of year, where he was like, yeah, of course, my father's name opened a couple of doors, but you got to prove that you deserve to be through those doors once you are there. Like you can get through, but whether or not you're going to stay or get thrown out depends on what you bring to the table. So they've got it, that's for sure. Inhaler, as far as the now quotient of 90s now, I would highly advise you check them out.
I like it.
It's good.
Oh, and just a final thing for me, Sierra and Summer Walker have released a new track together. It's a bop. It's called Better Things.
Better
Things.
Better Things.
It almost reminds you of like a 90s throwback, like hip hop track, like R&B hip hop track. So
cool.
If you're looking for new tunes for the week.
Better Things. Okay, I'll look for it.
Sierra and some. Oh, and also we had talked about this. So Janet Jackson is at Paris Fashion Week, and there's a picture of her and Doja Cat and Erykah Badu sitting next to each other, and somebody had like a picture and like put it out on Twitter or whatever, and it was like, what would you name this super group? Like, what would you name it? Can you imagine? Like,
no
and
kidding.
I just love seeing Janet with Erykah, and then I love Doja Cat too, so seeing all three of them, it was like epic.
What would we call it?
I don't know, like
Jan Dojadu?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
These wheels are turning, girl.
You've done it.
Jan Dojadu.
There we go.
Isn't that what you practice when you do your
that's exactly karate? Not it, but close.
Jan Dojadu.
Yeah.
All right. For those listening, that was pretty ninja-like hand gestures. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Kel.
That's enough. Yeah.
Going off the rails here. Again, we are missing Adam for this show, but we know that he's got to be off for now. At least he's all good, and we'll be back soon. And
not eating Doritos, probably not. But
he's probably doing that too. He can. Yeah. He balances a lot, Kel.
Yeah. We know it's not cucumber chips, though. No. You and him both looked pretty disgusted last week.
Just eat chips.
Yeah.
And cucumbers, but don't make cucumbers chips.
Yeah. Oh, as we mentioned, we mentioned this off air. I'm dealing with a cold, which not COVID cold. And so I wasn't really hungry actually for the first few days of the cold. But in my wisdom, I thought that eating a whole bag of Miss Vicky's spicy ketchup chips might help the sinuses.
And?
They did not, but I had no problem eating the bag of chips.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to learn by doing.
That's right.
So now you know, and maybe you don't really know. Maybe you'll have to do it again.
Yeah. Have you tried those chips yet? That's homework.
Not yet.
For you. Oh, Sharon,
it is total homework for me. I'm totally down with it. Please. I am making a trip to Costco this week, so maybe they have like the body size bag.
Yeah, they do. All right, that's enough.
Hey, well, okay, that's enough. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for finding us wherever it is that you do that. We appreciate it. Always. Season 11 underway. Kelly, come on. Season 11? Can you even? 11. You guys, thank you very much for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.